Derek Spallone, glad to be alongside Chicago native and starting point guard of the Windy City Bulls, Will Bynum. Will, how are you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. I appreciate you taking the time out. And just first and foremost, as a player with a ton of professional basketball experience, how great is it just being a part of your hometown organization and leading your teammates who I'm sure are eager to pick your brain in hopes of attaining the same success that you've encountered throughout your professional career?
Oh, it's been great for me. It's full circle as far as me, taking the knowledge that I've learned, throughout my career and giving it back, to these guys as well as giving myself an opportunity to get a call up. It's been great.
And I want to go back to where it all started for you growing up in Chicago. How did that mold you into the person and player you are today?
It's a lot of different ways, but just my upbringing, a tough upbringing, just gave me a never quit, never lose type of mentality, and my work ethic. That's what comes from that. My confidence comes from my work ethic, and all of that comes from my upbringing here in Chicago. Just my mom having 7 kids with no job and making a way for us. Those type of things have it's been entrenched within me. To do things the right way.
Is that the motivation that fuels you to be a part of that elite group of Chicago athletes who played in the NBA?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my uncle and my oldest brother, they put the ball in my hands, and from that day forward, I just had the will to improve and get better. Every single year. That's what it always was about to me. And then once I felt like that I had a real chance at it, that's when I started to put everything that I had into the game. And I think that's what a lot of guys, coming up now is kind of missing. I don't think they put all of their time into the game, so therefore they don't get the most out of the game, because they're not putting their all into it. They don't understand the amount of hours that is put into it when you go home. When it's non-basketball time and you're around basketball and you're learning different sets. Like now, it's become so easy for me because I've seen most of these things, thousands and thousands of times.
Right.
So reads are simple and in-game situations. Everything is simple and the game is much slower. And, like a lot of veteran guys used to tell me that early on in my career, but, it's crazy now because I'm seeing it kind of firsthand.
Yeah, and even tying along with that, through your journey, when you have the opportunity to reflect back through the tough times and the good times, what would you say has been the biggest life lesson you've learned through that process?
Consistency, especially with your work ethic. Always staying prepared, at any moment, and not taking it too, not being too emotionally tied into the business aspect of it, because it can crush you, especially when you're putting everything you have into a craft, and the outcome doesn't go the way that you want it to go. You still have to have, some patience, and you still have to have some consistency about your work ethic, and not take it too personal to where it hurts you and affects you as far as you getting better on a daily basis.
And how did you find that balance? And would you say it got a little bit easier as you had a little bit more experience and got older?
Nah, I mean, it got harder and harder. It got harder and harder as I got older, the different situations I've been in, me expecting a lot more out of myself, than a situation did itself. So, I mean, it's a crazy balance. It's not something that's easy, but my upbringing is what continues for me to pushes me to fight,
Right.
to keep going further and further. So, I mean, that's been everything, because I don't really believe in what people think of me, because they haven't lived an hour or a second in my shoes, so they could never be able to tell me how good I'm going to be or how good I am in something when they've never spent time
Right.
with me on a daily basis, and how much time I put into the craft. So I've never taken that too serious, and I've always taken personal me getting better, my improvement.
I mean, that's a great perspective, just digging in deep, having faith, and kind of letting the work speak for itself, so to speak. But
Definitely.
yeah, even going along with that, I know you're very avid in giving back to the community. But as someone who had a dream of playing in the NBA and achieved that goal growing up, and you never gave up, what is your advice to the youth when it comes down to setting goals and taking the steps towards achieving those goals?
First off, you have to set realistic goals. Basketball is not so realistic. It's something that you dream about doing, and everybody kind of want to do it.
Right.
And it looks great, but it's not an overnight success thing. It's
Right.
one of those things where 9 times out of 10 you're not going to be the LeBron James or the Derrick Rose or the Stephen Curry. Like, you're not going to be that guy. So what you're going to do when you're not that guy? The road's going to be tougher, the days is going to be darker, but you have to embrace that. And it's not for everybody. I mean, the percentage of players that make it is slim to none because it's billions of kids that's trying to, get to the same place that you're trying to get to. So what I would say is you take the same principles that no matter what it is to be successful, that it's, that discipline, the dedication, the focus, the hard work and constantly trying to improve in every day. And, you take that and then whatever field it is, as long as it's a field that you can constantly improve in and, pay-wise, hopefully improve, you won't lose.
And I just have a couple more questions for you. Aside from having an impact on the court, as we mentioned, you've had a pretty big impact off the court as well, giving back, hosting camps, and with your charitable efforts as well and foundation work. But just how fulfilling has it been for you seeing the continued impact you've had on the lives of people, not only in Chicago, but across the country?
It's just, for me, it's a small thing because, I'm there on a daily basis, so I understand that these kids need so much more. And, what I'm doing is just it's small compared to what we should be doing, as a people because, a lot of kids here is not getting any type of opportunity. The opportunities that they're seeing are bad opportunities, and it's overnight success that's going to lead to jail or death. So, right now it's just tough, man. It's tough. It's tough when the kids we're in a situation where they're in a situation where nobody's really paying them any attention, and the way that they're getting attention right now is through violence, and it's sad. But hopefully more opportunities that happen within the neighborhoods to give kids more of a chance to provide, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and that kind of ties me into my next question. As someone from Chicago, and you see the unfortunate violence that has plagued the city. This year alone, over 100 individuals have been victim to gun violence. Do you believe there is a solution or a step that can be taken towards putting an end to the violence once and for all?
Opportunity.
Yeah.
It's opportunity. We're talking about kids who's doing things for, for a name, a so-called, a namesake for them to have, a little neighborhood success, and they don't understand the positive ways that they can take that and do positive things within their environment or for themselves. So they don't have those type of opportunities. Everything is closed down, from the YMCA's to the after school like craft programs that we used to have coming up. Like none of that stuff is happening anymore. So kids from the hours from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., I'm sure it's the most crime, and that's
Right.
the time that the kids have nothing to do when they need opportunities to be doing something else or learning something else or learning something craft-based to where they can, actually take their careers, because, everybody can't be the player that's on the court, but, God, you can be a GM, or you can be a coach, or you can be whatever it is you want to be and be a part of the game still and still have an impact on people's lives. And I just think the mentality of the kid is not able to understand that, because most male figures aren't in the household, and they don't have that role model there to tell them that, to say don't go this way, do it this way. When all of the people that they're growing up around are doing it the bad way. You know what I mean? They just need that one person to tell them something sometimes that they're not having, and it's making it tough.
But is it special for you when you see Chicago natives stepping up, giving back, such as yourself,
Yeah.
Derrick Rose, Chance the Rapper, etc.?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It could be to me, it can be so much better, but it's always a great thing seeing guys step up, especially Chance. Chance has been amazing for the city.
Right.
And,
Public schools, yeah.
Yeah. That's great, because we all come from CPS schools, and we know what's going on and the funds behind it, and the situations are so different. It's totally different now, man. I couldn't imagine having my child in the CPS, program school right now, because of the opportunities, because of the non-books,
Right.
the way that the system is being carried out, and a lot of that has to do with them taking funds away from CPS. When I was coming up, it was totally different. We had funds, and it was a little bit better. And hopefully, in the future, the people that's making the decisions can understand that and, provide more opportunities, because the kids is the future of everything that we have going on. And once we understand that and try to provide them more knowledge, then, it'll be better for the world.
Yeah, that's perfectly said. Couldn't have said it better myself, man. But just my final question for you, and I appreciate you sticking along for that conversation, man. But just my final question for you, Will, aside from basketball, what's one thing about Will Bynum that not many people know that you can share with us? Maybe a special hobby or interest aside from the game? Yeah.
I do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It just depends. I read a lot.
Okay.
I read a lot.
You have a favorite book out that maybe something that caught your eye recently?
Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
It's kind of caught my eye. I've been doing a lot of things. Well, what I say that a lot of people don't know about me is that I kind of embrace fatherhood.
Right.
I embrace fatherhood a lot. It's like the best thing ever to me because you get caught up in a journey of like battling like success and trying to go further and further. Sometimes you forget about the time, because time is all we have, is everything, and you forget about that time that you get to spend with your kids, with people, with your nephews, cousins that's growing up, and it's critical in their life because they need that word, the same word that you needed in order to excel when you were in that same situation. So right now I've been trying to master my time a little bit better, as far as embracing fatherhood and spending that time with my daughters, and I just had a son, so
Congratulations.
thank you. So that's been like, it's been like everything to me, just finding that balance to be able to spend those and have those meaningful conversations with them, and hopefully it helps them to become better people.
So success is measured differently for you now than from before, when embracing that fatherhood.
Yeah, definitely. Because now, I see how critical the conversations that I had with my father and my mother had so much of an impact on me, because, without those conversations, I could have easily veered right, or, did something, negative. But I always had those thoughts of my mom and my father, and my stepdad, like in my ear, telling me the right things.
That's wonderful. That's fantastic, and it's great to see that, like I said, not only having that impact on the court but off the court as well, and finding that balance over time, man. And we definitely wish you continued success both on and off the court, man. So and congratulations again on your newborn son. So
thanks a lot.
Derek Spallone, Will Bynum, appreciate your time, man. Thanks
for having me.
Thanks, man.